And am I looking at the camera?
Looking straight
down the lens.
Oh.
Straight down the lens, yeah. A little bit, that's nice point.
Oh.
Breastfeeding, can't even say the word, sorry.
Okay.
I feel like such a sap. I was adamant. I knew this was exactly what I wanted to do. When she was born, I was so like, okay, is it time? Is it time? Can I put her on? You know? And they were like, wait, give it a minute now, give it, okay, yeah, try now, you know? And so I tried. And you're useless. You're like, and you can't kind of figure out how to actually get it in, and the baby is just as clueless. And
I had always just assumed that literally you have a baby, you put baby to breast, baby feeds, and that's just how it works.
But eventually, anyway, she latched on. And it was just this moment of, and ever since it's been exactly the same, there's this moment of pure, unadulterated joy where you're just looking at your baby going, oh my God, this is everything that it's cracked up to be.
But like in those first few weeks, definitely you are very nervous about everything, about the latch, about where you're positioning, you know, sleeping at night. Is he waking? Is he not waking? If he was sleeping too much, it's like, oh my God. And if he's not sleeping, it's like, please sleep.
My first experiences of breastfeeding were pretty positive. Danny latched on straight away once he was born, thankfully, and he was a great feeder from the start.
I'd heard that so often that it just doesn't work out. And I was kind of thinking, how does humanity survive if it just doesn't work out? My baby was diagnosed as having a posterior tongue tie when she was 2 weeks old, which explained why we were having so much trouble breastfeeding. We got it resolved at 11 weeks. It's a 5-second procedure. And within 4 days, she was nursing without nipple shields. It was perfect.
Well, Molly is my first baby, so this is my first experience with breastfeeding. Initially I found it quite difficult, which is why I signed up for the class to equip myself with every knowledge, all the knowledge possible. But nothing could have really prepared me for it in the sense that it's so surreal.
We had difficulty with the latch, and but we went to a lactation consultant, and we got that dealt with, and now he's improved so much, and now he's 4 months old, and his feeding has just really settled down, and we're really getting to have the kind of the long cuddles and the long relaxing feeds with him, you know.
I had the number of a breastfeeding consultant while I was in the hospital, and I had been thinking, will I ring, won't I ring? And eventually on day 10, there was no question, I had to ring. So I rang Clare Boyle. She arrived out of the house very shortly afterwards. I answered the door and started crying when I saw her. My friends all say that when you hear someone go, Clare, did you cry when you answered the door? Everyone does. Everyone really? Cries when they answer the door to Clare. Felt supported before I started feeding, and everybody thought it was going to be easy. But then when it turned out that it was hard, everybody was saying, would you not just give a bottle? Would you not just, it's okay to give up. Luckily I didn't, and luckily I got the practical support then to be able to continue.
I felt supported from my peers, really, from my family, and my husband was amazing, just giving me the time to learn to breastfeed with my son.
He didn't come to the class. I tried to get him to come along to the class, and be really that dad, who is going to be everything to everyone. He didn't, but he was very supportive. He saw the positives in it for himself, because he didn't have to get up in the middle of the night in the beginning to get bottles ready, So he wanted me to continue breastfeeding for as long as possible.
Without Clare, without Cuidiú, without La Leche League, we wouldn't be parenting the way that we are still.
People love mothers who breastfeed. You get this great kind of, other mothers pass you by and they look over and smile at you. There is that sort of camaraderie between mothers. It's hard to describe. But I feel like now with my baby, I always know where she is. Even if she's in a different room, there's like a string attaching us, like an elastic band actually, because what you feel is you need to be next to her.
You're in a lovely little bubble. You could be in an airport, you could be on a train, you could be anywhere. And it's you and your child, and you're in this bubble and you're connected, and it's bliss.
The rush of oxytocin, it's like this intense love, and it's much more intense while feeding. There's something about looking at her and it's just this intoxicating feeling. It's really magical.
It's formed a really strong bond. I feel really proud that I've been able to do this for him, and there's nothing like that connection.
It makes you feel like you're achieving something, you know. It is definitely a skill that I've learned, and I'm kind of proud of myself that I've learned that, you know. I think I gained as much as Oisín has gained from breastfeeding.
She has this little ritual whereby she places one hand on my chest and she often clutches my top, and then her other hand goes around my back and she tickles my back, which is really sweet, and she does that until she falls asleep.
So we did baby sign from a very early age, so everybody thought I was crazy when I was signing to my baby's milk before every feed. Then as time went on, they would go milk.
I think skin to skin is vitally important, and I think breastfeeding really gives that opportunity. I feel like it's an embrace for the baby.
I love breastfeeding because it's that pure moment where everything comes right, and there is a fundamental contentedness that I feel as soon as my baby is feeding with me.
I make no bones about it. It's one of the best things that I could do for my girls. In our house we say that it nurtures the soul, because it's about 10% is about the actual food intake and the rest is about the attachment, the security, the comforting. It's the best calm for a temper tantrum in the world.
If you think of the most intoxicating feeling or sensation that you possibly can and then multiply it, you won't even come close. Looking at your child and knowing that your body is nourishing them, as well as that soul connection of that mother-child relationship, you've got this other connection as well.
It's difficult to describe the bond that I have with my baby while I'm breastfeeding. It's almost like I don't need to describe it, it's just there. I'm going to get emotional now. But it is just there.
Well, in Clare's class we did just really helpful practical tips, and very easy to remember. She has little verses, the clue is in the poo.
I thought it was an unusual subject to be taught. I thought it just came naturally, but it was a real eye-opener for me.
The knowledge I gained from that class was just vital especially in the first few days.
We were given dolls and we were taught how to put the doll's head in towards your breast to make sure that the latch was correct. Very fundamental basics that every mother needs if they want to breastfeed.
It really gave me the confidence, I think, to just let my body and my baby do what they were meant to do.
All these women have volunteered to support this film because they feel such pride and joy in what they have achieved. Scientifically, it produces the hormone oxytocin, the love hormone. Breastfeeding is a learned skill, and learning the basics before the baby arrives will help the mother feel more confident when her time comes to breastfeed. In my Preparing for Breastfeeding class, I empower pregnant women and their partners to have an enjoyable experience.
When Danny looks up and smiles, it's the most magical thing.
It's the most wonderful thing I've ever done.
It's liquid love.
The journey starts here, and I am with you every step of the way.
Proudly sponsored by Sunsweet Prune and Prune Juice.